Hi. So welcome to another vid. Yes, it's been a minute, but I think I thought it's time to just give a slight update. Like I said in my last video, I've become a little bit hesitant to sort of speak on what I'm kind of doing until it, to a certain sense, takes fruition. But in the past few, for this instance, I felt like we might warrant a slight reintroduction to a degree. And I also felt that I'm also in a position where I'm better able to clearly and concisely define some of my intentions and perspectives moving forward, right? So, um, update what's been going on since the last time. I'm working. I've like, which is really good. That does make a big difference in a sense. Like having some sense of income to work with, basically, is a key factor. For a long time, I wasn't able to get a job. One of my limitations was a vehicle, of course, right? And a lot of you all know, who've been following like me for a long time on my other social media platforms, which I probably won't activate the old platforms moving forward. That's like Instagram and X or Twitter. I'll probably create two new accounts just to sever the threads on those fields also moving forward, right? But I needed to get a vehicle to be able to get the job. One of the requirements for the job was you needed to have a van, and I've been going through this cycle of credit, trying to save money, rent, like bills, and a whole cycle of you need the credit to get the vehicle, or you need at least a suitable down payment. You cannot make the down payment because you money spending on your day-to-day, paycheck to paycheck. Is just a crazy cycle. Even after you finally manage to get the credit card, you only get like a very low limit, which takes another year. It's insane. So finally I did decide that I got turned down for so many jobs because of not having a vehicle in my field. Taping, painting, and handyman skill contracting, you need a vehicle. Employers would even require a laborer to have a vehicle. It's just way more convenient for them, right? So I finally decided like to just pull the gun, and I rented a van. I applied for a job. I kind of lied about it because they did ask, do you have a reliable vehicle? They never said anything about, do you have your own vehicle, right? Wording is very important with me. So I rented a van, and I got the job, and it's been going really good so far. I actually live in the van right now. Okay, so I'll just give just a little space though. It's not nothing. It's not my van. I'm about to get rid of the van. I'm also working on getting a vehicle. I'm like right there, hopefully, so I don't want to jinx it, so let that be. But like here, like making my tea. See my tea boiling away. It's like it's like my little kitchen setup right here, right? I'll switch the camera. So this is like my tea. It's my little kitchen setup right there. I keep some stuff in the microwave, some stuff over here. This is my tool work section. It's like right here. This is basically every tool a taper, painter, and a skilled handyman would need, surprisingly, in these two bags alone, right? Drop sheets used for curtains. This is kept all my books. I couldn't get rid of my books, so this is all my books. This is like fuzzy blanket. I love the feel of fleece. And again, fuzzy fleecy stuff. I love fuzzy stuff. A scarf. Just some of my stuff, coats, laundry stuff, that's toiletries, clothes, also my underwears, personals, rags, toiletries, socks, scarves, coats and major stuff in there, a couple coats, and of course my bag with my trusty laptop where I do most of my work wherever I can get a chance and whatnot. This is like the business package right there. Work shoes, the pole, and yeah. I need to turn off the tea, and this looks really good. I like cook on it and everything. And the microwave, I kind of just use it as a workstation, but at work, like we do use it to like warm up food and everything. It's way more convenient. I get to be able to like actually prepare food and take food to work and warm it up. Obviously, I don't have to worry about food spoiling or going bad. This is not insulated. Again, like I said, I do have a sleeping bag. It's rated for like minus 120. Yeah, so just being in here with the fleece and the sleeping bag, I sleep pretty comfortable. I could also use this as a heater, but you also need to have a CM detector in here. I haven't done that yet. I haven't had no need for it. Like I said, the sleeping bag is just like awesome. I just jump in there and it's great. I'm good to go. So again, like I said, I'm working, and yeah, that's it. I'm not going to talk about what exactly I'm planning moving forward until like again when it takes fruition. But then I do plan on speaking on everything I'm doing and whatnot. Again, like I said from the start, I want this to kind of be sort of inspirational for others who get into situations like this, and sort of feel like there's no way out, or it's just like hopeless and this is the end of it. Like to see somebody, because I saw somebody go through it and I saw them come out on the other side. I saw what it was like for them to come out on the other side. And again, like I said, this is what gives me inspiration personally, and hopefully it does for someone else too. Okay. I try not to focus on like how did I get here. If you missed how I get here, it's almost like for me it's there's more of a subjective aspect to it, a subjective aspect experience to it, which I won't even bother going into again. And again, like I said, for me, I take it personally as a trial, almost like a social experiment, right? Which is weird, and many mightn't understand that aspect of it, right? But in my whole journey associated with that, one thing like how did I kind of get here per se with what I'm doing based off of this? One of the things I noticed in my journey, like through like rediscovering myself, searching for myself, trying to find my place in this world and my purpose, and what fulfills me. What do I want to do with myself, not what I'm forced to do as a means to get by, right? Just searching for yourself. And through my spiritual journey, one thing I came to realize with that aspect is that we came to a point where in this experience, like I came to realize that one of the big things you'll ever see, people in the end, it was an individual that offered like quite a bit of assistance, right? Through getting the job and being impressed with me for my work and everything and whatnot. But then it usually takes a great deal of effort on your part to even get to that point. For example, if I didn't go out, step out of my comfort zone and actually decide to like rent and live in my van, so I have like a work vehicle and somewhere to stay, so I could have like a farm, like a home base to work from, to kind of have some semblance of regularity, right? Like a cycle kind of. And the efforts I put in to get where I'm at reflected by what the the energy that was given back to me. Because again, like I said, the company I decided to work for, they were very impressed by my efforts and initiatives to actually get the job, and coupled with that, they're very impressed by the skill level. Like once I got the job, I know I was gonna be fine. I just needed to get the job because I know my skill speaks for itself, my integrity, my work ethic speaks for itself, right? And I realized that you it's usually you who needs to, you're the one who will always be your savior. No one is kind of coming to save you unless you help yourself first. Like, and that resonated with me so hard. Like, I reached out to a lot of people on certain aspects of things, and no one is coming to help you, man. So that kind of imprinted on me in the sense that I realized that even in every aspect of life, even collectively, society, humanity as a whole, this is true of our situation where we face collectively. This resonates on not just a micro scale with the individual, but on a macro scale with the collective society. And what I realized that we're facing a lot of current issues with our day-to-day experiences, what I'm going through, what I could relate to, and I thought I could find answers for a lot of things in spirituality and consciousness and the spiritual community and conscious community, etc. And once you go through the whole journey, it's just a whole cycle. You come back, and in the end you realize that you're kind of just where you're meant to be, doing exactly what you're meant to be at this exact moment, and everything is like perfectly fine. It's weird, but it's highly subjective. But it's you kind of have to go through it to I don't know what to tell you, right? But that's spirituality, consciousness. The journey to finding yourself is to realize that there was nothing to even look for in the first place. It was always right there in front of you, and it was just like becoming fully self-aware. And a bigger part of the spiritual community have this aspect of like this other, like, etheric existence that we're, it's almost like the same religious perspective, like we're gonna be saved by angelic beings, or with the spiritual experiences, like there's gonna be this shift and this new world, and the new world is gonna, like, we're the when you bring your vibration up to a 5D vibration, a 5D vibratory level, that field, and you match that field, that you will be among those who separate from this experience and leave the others behind. So it's that whole concept that permeated every facet of humanity. Like, we're just expecting this miracle to just solve our problems for us, right? And I kind of got frustrated with it. I'm like, bro, this is the same shit as fucking Christianity, Muslim. Then I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm out. I just want to just be hands-on here and now and work in my community and try to focus on the issues that affecting me right here in my community, because it's supposed to be in doing the work on yourself, it's supposed to be first centered on yourself. You work on yourself and you let your efforts reflect to the greater world, because you can't change anyone, but you let your efforts reflect what is possible, right? So for instance, a lot of people think like it will, my goal per se is to have a complete separation, be as sovereign from the entrapments of this society as possible. I want to pay as less bills as possible. In the end of my experience, if it's possible that maybe the only utility I'm paying is internet, I'll be fine with that. But fuel, if I do go on van life, if I like, obviously it will start with my van life, and although I'll be working, but for one, that's like rent done. first and foremost, like my biggest fuck you to the system is that I'm not paying rent again. Okay? With the van life, rent will be done. And moving on from the van life, well, with not just the rent will be done, you also have that sense of sovereignty where you feel like it's a home. There's a difference between a house and a home. This is a home. Like it could be a home by what the energy it brings to you and you bring to it, and um it's my home. It's I own it. No one will ever be able to take that from me again. That could never happen, right? The other aspect is food. Now, I still have to rely greatly, of course, on the what we're being provided, right? And I do try to look for alternatives as much as possible, but the in the end, for me personally, I would like to be able to create as much of my own food as possible. But then in my circumstance, that would probably require like, I'm so adamant about like the mobility, the van life style offers. But then I'm also interested in having the ability to maybe grow my own food. So this is something I think I could this I wouldn't have no issues like kind of talking about, because um I think it's a lot of other people talk about it and people do it, and I don't know if people do it, but I don't think it'll be a hindrance in me like getting it accomplished. As I would like to I'm already in talks to getting like at least 3 community plots. I would like to kind of cultivate these plots in a like permacultural model, adopt a permacultural model where you cycle between um, production of resources, like for example, honey, and from just bees alone. Like let's say an epistuary with like both creating like beeswax for like candles and other stuff, and soaps and honey, and hair products, skin products. Just from that alone, then you would have like the community gardens where you could like grow different assortment of um, fruits and vegetables that support each other in an organic way, but then you still have that backed by flowering wild plants, herbs, and also um, what you would call them, like foraging, those forageable like wild berries and stuff like that. So you still kind of encourage a natural sort of ecosystem, but it still is very resourceful and it kind of feeds a lot of people. So I would like to have like at least 2 or 3 of those cultivating and cycling during the warm seasons. Create a lot of food. Try to experiment with this like in an urban environment. See how much food production I could come up with from that. And also, I would also like to do like I would like to rent 2 storage spaces. I'm also in talks with this guy to get that done, and try to attempt one microgreens. I want to like experiment with like growing and distributing microgreens on one hand, and also growing and distributing mushrooms, which you could do both with very easy startup packages, and get the space to get them done, get the equipment to get them done, which is it's a very low barrier entry, and it's something which could also like like work towards the initiative you get towards, and while also still fulfilling a need to the community, kind of, right? So these are some things I'm like working on right now, just besides like my work and what I'm doing. So I'm like quickly coming up and out of the situation, so I'm not even worried about that. And the other initiatives were me per se with the website. Okay, now I've I've had most of the stuff on the website created even before this experience, and I wanted to actually release a lot of it, right? But then when I started getting in touch with other people and speaking to other people and groups of people, I realized that I kind of felt like I didn't want to release the website and the, like, especially like the merchandise. My merchandise is like my art. It's my message, right? And I do not want it to be like caught up in just like being just merch for the sake of me just making money, right? So I also, before I released it, although I was pretty much ready to release it a while back, I've been ready to release everything, and I didn't want it to seem like I'm using it as a crutch. I wanted to figure my way out first and have my way going before I put any of that stuff out, right? And just redo an introductory video, introduce where I'm at. Like, this is me. Like, I'm not gonna be like embarrassed or have shame. I want this actual goal. I want people to see where we came from, where we started, and reflect back on it maybe like 3-5 years down the line and see where we're at, right? Not just as an individual, also the collective I expect to build around this, right? I truly believe this it does resonate with a lot of people. A lot of people are fed up. A lot of people are trying to find ways out of all of this, and trying to find answers and like ways or means where we could come together and find solutions, right? And stop nitpicking at each other over like petty differences that are so insignificant, whereas the bigger picture, the focus in front of us should be like overcoming these collective trials we face. And again, like I said, I think that it's a big part of preventing us from accomplishing these endeavors is by creating severe division among us, preventing us from realizing our collective power, which, if utilized properly, is basically the most unstoppable force on earth. Give me a collective of people behind any movement, and I will move behind any movement, and I will like shift any force out of our way. Basically, that's how I personally see it, right? And I want to see the extent of that. I just want to know, what can we do as the people? I won't say the people against anything. Like, I don't think it's the people against anybody. I think it's the people against themselves. That is the mission. Like, kind of try to get every single person to be fully kind of responsible for themselves. That's all it takes. You just take this initiative for yourself. If each person takes the initiative, like, I truly believe we could get a lot of stuff done, and we can definitely affect change. And we're not powerless. We're not hopeless, right? We can do this if we just realize we need to do it together. And that's just me. That's where I stand on that, right? So again, like I said, we're just here. We're still, again, we just felt like we should reintroduce ourselves. We're getting everything done. Everything is going as, it's not smooth sailing. But the other thing is to I'm kind of at the point where I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I have this whole pride thing. Like, I already set myself like I'm not renting again. But right now, I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place where I'm getting a car, right? And it's either I decide to live in my car for the next 4 months in the winter, or I sacrifice the next 6 months, put my pride aside, and get fully prepared, whatnot, get a room, rent for the next 6 months, get a room, get fully prepared, and for my initial severance by May, because I could get everything ready and have enough money worked and saved between all my endeavors, and by the beginning of summer, May, I could literally get a van. Now it'll be easier to live in the van while I work on it in May, moving through the entire summer down into the fall, right? So I could just stop renting, get the van, move in the van, and start working on preparing the van to be comfortable enough for the winter. In the summer, you could just like lay down in the fucking van, whatever, right? It's a different story in the winter. It gets, for some reason, it's literally colder in the back of the van than it is outside at a certain point. It has to do something with the thermodynamics in here, but yeah, it's not, you can't survive in the back of a van in Canadian winters. Although I would love to have made that sacrifice, it's not happening, right? So unless I kind of really just get the money to buy my own van right now, I can't exactly focus on the van for now. I have to, unfortunately, put that on the back burner for the time being, which, I don't feel like I didn't accomplish it. I just feel like I learned like some valuable lessons, right? And it was a wake up call, right? I do believe like a part of me was kind of delusional to a certain degree to think that it would just be as easy as just saying fuck it, drop everything and jump into it. No, I just want to let anybody who's thinking about making this kind of transition to just like give up on your job, give up on life, give up on society. No, that is no. It takes a serious amount of logistical planning and preparedness, including financial preparedness. So yeah, if anybody ever think about making that type of shift, plan accordingly, especially in this time, like and you think of like kind of switching careers, or you don't feel comfortable in one position. I understand, like, I wouldn't recommend you staying somewhere that you don't feel appreciated, or you don't feel that's fulfilling to you in any other way but financial. But in this I'd say financial, this current economic environment, I would recommend that you make sure you have solid alternatives before you decide to make any brash financial decisions, because they could come back and bite you hard in the ass, right? Yeah, so on top of that, to all these and those are little organizations doing their thing, stay up, keep doing your thing, keep fighting that fight, and yeah, it's really nice to have like feet and hands down here in Canada, here in Ontario. Like, I love this place, man. I love Canada, right? But I just don't want it to. Again, I'm one of those. I like, you fall in love you fall in love with it really quick. I know I'm not a born Canadian, okay, but it's my home, right? And I care about it. And I care what the hell this place ends up becoming, right? I don't think I'm going anywhere anytime soon. Hopefully not. Send my asshole for instigating shit. No. But yeah, again, like I said, like, man, it's not even me. Like, again, I love the country. It's never about government. For me, it's all about like big corporations, big money. It's not about people. You never fight people. One thing I learned early in this is you don't fight people. You fight systems. And in with that perception, with that mindset, you always remain in that gray space. You remain non-aligned. You don't get caught up in the entrapments of the ism, the schism, the division. Nothing. You remain in that gray, non-aligned space. you focus on systems. We're focused on systems. We're not focused on people. We don't fight people. Sometimes you will get like representations or mindsets that come through people, and we try to counteract that thinking, not even their thinking personally, but what other people, like we prevent that train of thought from permeating to other people. So it's like you shall not pass kind of thing, right? We're not taking certain types of thinking and approaches to different things into this new paradigm. With us, we're doing this thing differently. We're doing this thing our way. Okay, thanks for joining me for this other video, and again I will keep in touch. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep in touch with the website. I'm also on Reddit, but I'm kind of like freely like Ontario, Canada, Toronto focused over there right now, so I don't think it will kind of resonate with most of y'all unless you're kind of on that same tip. But that's for like my other, you know. But I'll try to keep doing some when I get a chance. It's like being really busy with work right now and the other things I'm working on, but I'll try to like start redoing some articles for the blog if possible. And it's also open for other people to, hopefully, like I said, I also hope to have it just open for anybody. It's just right, like in just include stuff, blog information on there. Another initiative I'd like to do with the website again, I'd like to start an artist collective where, cause I see like so many street artists in Toronto kind of struggling sometimes, and they do such great work. And I, on one end, I could kind of like capitalize on it myself, and also allow them to have a means to gain further exposure maybe, and also be able to like make an income off of their own work, right? To be self-sustained and sovereign also, right? It's like I know what it means for an artist to be able to eat just off their work, right? It's gee, wow. But if I'm able to, I'd like to be able to like purchase some work from street artists and then also showcase them on a gallery section of the shop where it could have a wider exposure. Purchase it myself, try to sell them for maybe even just like a slight markup, to be honest, just to warrant the logistics, because I would have to like a lot of presentation, artist features, artist focus, etc. But and also probably create a non-profit behind that also, where they could have it just like a street artist collective where they could better represent themselves, right? So again, like I said, we have like a lot of things. Oh, I'm also going back to school for permaculture. So we have like a lot of things on the rise, and I decided to go for the permaculture ahead of the, I also want to do Reiki, but I think like priority wise permaculture has become more pressing in terms of what I want to do and where we're going with this, right? So again, I try to make this a short concise video. I can never do that. I talk so much, but anyway, thank you once again for joining us, and stay up, okay? Keep doing what you're doing, keep fighting that fight in whichever way you see fit. Keep shining your light, do your thing, let your actions define who you are. Okay? Cheers.